Welcome into the live stream here from McCready and Siskey, powered by Rain Total Body Fuel. I'm Neal. That's Tyler.
What it is, sir.
How are you?
Doing good, brother. How are you?
I'm good. Good. Just I miss Florida a lot. miss it a lot.
I didn't know if you were going to come back there for a while.
Listen.
There were thoughts that crossed your mind.
I mean,
hey,
technically, if a lot of money just fell into my lap and allowed that to be a lifestyle,
is that the spot?
Tomorrow.
Is that the spot?
I mean,
what happened to Boise, man? I thought you would.
No. I mean, as recently as yesterday, I talked to a friend who told me he has a son who lives in Montana, and I was like, "You like it?" And he's like, "Oh." And I told him people who know me have told me, "Don't ever go to Montana because you'll never come home."
It's a cool place. I've been there,
and so I can't. I haven't been to Montana, but yeah, if you told me I could, live on the beach in Florida, yeah, for sure.
It's not a bad life. I'm still Charleston still got my heart. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've never been to Charleston.
Charleston still has my heart. Although we haven't been in a while. I mean, hint, hint to my family out there listening. Sure would like to go back to Charleston sometime soon, family. It'd be awesome. So I love it. It's my spot. I'm a sucker for it. It's my deal. But yeah, it's almost here. It's still slow this week. Most everybody's still on vacation this week, and then even at Quick U, all the coaches still on vacation. So we're just cleaning up data and fun stuff, like fun projects.
Yeah.
My kids are very thankful they're not working for me this summer. This was they hated life right now. They used to have to enter. They said entering data is the most monotonous job of all time.
Yeah.
Because I told them, I said, hey, because you can't be wrong. There's no mistakes. I said, you live with a boss, and the boss does not have temperament for that. So you can't make a mistake. So yeah, that was fun. It was fun.
But I'm here for a while. I mean,
you're here.
Not going to media days.
You're not?
No.
You're not going to media days?
I'm not.
All right, we got to talk about this live.
I'm not going.
Really?
Mm-mm. I mean, I've got a credential, but it's to a site that no longer exists.
Oh, okay. I was wondering what you did about that.
I mean, I probably could still go pick it up and cover it, but I'm not writing for anybody. They don't. It's wild, man. It's crazy. This is.
I will be glad when all this is like, I know you will be glad. I've been like every day I get asked about you every day.
What's your answer?
I'm like, yeah. I act like I don't know. Unless it's somebody I do know that we know, and then I will tell them the truth. So I apologize if I told you the answer of I don't know.
Well, I mean, as of this moment, the honest answer is I don't know.
The plan, how about that?
Yeah.
But at this point, I have told people that know both of us the truth. Besides that, I've been like,
I mean, as of this exact moment,
well, dude, I mean,
it's not set. As you know, you're a football coach. All right, you're a football coach.
Plan B, Plan
no,
A.
Hold
is
on,
set.
hold on,
Plan B.
Hold on.
Set.
When you're an offensive coach.
Okay, I am. Or I was.
When your team when your team got to the 1 yard line, did you go touchdown, or did you say, well, we're going to have to get this extra yard? We're going to have to get from the 1 over the goal line.
Well, sometimes the last yard is the hardest one.
But you didn't, at the 1 yard line, go, screw it, give us the points, never mind.
It depends on who the D-line was. How about that? Well, they had some dudes on the other side. I got a little, or if we had to go up under center or not, I got a little nervous. Besides that, I was good. All right.
Ready to roll?
Let's do it.
Okay. Welcome into episode 289 of McCready and Siskey, powered by Rain Total Body Fuel. I'm Neal McCready. That is Tyler Siskey here on this Monday, July the 7th. Hope everyone had a great 4th of July weekend. I said this earlier this morning on Blue Sky Live. I did a solo edition of Blue Sky Live this morning. I said this morning. I'll say it again this afternoon. not that thoughts and prayers do anything to comfort, but thoughts and prayers to all of the young people and their families in Texas.
Yeah, it's terrible.
It's a tragedy. I just saw a Instagram post from a girl I was friends with in college who works at 60 Minutes now. She lives in Austin. Sharon Alfonsi. Sharon posted that implied certainly in her post that she knew some of the families impacted. So many of those little girls from Dallas and Houston and Austin, and there was a little girl from Mountain Brook, Alabama, which is where my wife Laura is from. You see those pictures of one cabin where none of the girls survived. Both counselors perished. All the little girls, 8, 9-year-old little girls, and you just your heart breaks. And my heart broke Saturday when I heard about it. I've read more about it than I wanted to read about it, but I feel weird saying hope everyone had a wonderful 4th of July without acknowledging that there are people that had the worst possible news delivered to them on this on the holiday weekend. But we're back, so I'm here for I don't know, maybe I don't know, but I'm here now, and we'll be here for the next few weeks. So we'll see where all of that goes. On a show that is brought to you by Rain Total Body Fuel, 300 milligrams of natural caffeine, BCAAs, electrolytes, zero sugar. It's got what you need to push the limits and achieve your goals. Check them out on Instagram at Rain Body Fuel to learn more.
I'm rocking with a mango today. I felt a little. I'll tell you about it in a minute, but I had a fun morning, so I needed a little pick me up this afternoon. So I went with the mango. I needed to feel a little tropical. I'm missing the tropical weather. But Neal, the Cooper Chevrolet chat's already bumping, and it will be bumping throughout the show and through the end of the month. You can save up to $14,500 off of new Chevy Silverado pickups when you take advantage or trade and down payment assistance. That's over 19% below MSRP. Also, just announced you can get any new Hyundai Santa Fe or Hyundai Santa Fe Hybrid at 0% APR for 60 months. At Cooper Hyundai in Anniston, check them out, or check them out online at Cooper Chevrolet or CooperHyundai.com. Area code 256-236-4481. Neal, we're also brought to you by the official RV dealer of McCready and Siskey, County Line Campers, right there in Gulfport, Mississippi, right off of exit 38, I-10 in Gulfport. Right now, all the campers are perfect for escaping your in-laws or pretending you're roughing it, because tents are for college kids and people who hate happiness. At County Line Campers, you can save up to 90% off the original MSRP on the huge lineup of pre-loved RVs, like they barely used 39-foot Puma mid-bunk travel trailer for under $400 a month. How about that? With over 100 new RVs to choose from, we've got dozens of new RVs with payments under $350 a month, less than your bar tab. And if you have any camper that needs repair, the service department is so good, it makes Waffle House at 2 a.m. look unreliable. Make sure you check them out at countylinecampers.com, or check them out at TikTok. You can check them out on Instagram, YouTube, all that good stuff. Check out Miss Destiny's walkthrough, but again, at countylinecampers.com. How about that?
There you go.
A little rusty on my read-throughs there. Maybe by the time we get to Trav and Kia here in a minute, maybe I'll be, back to mid-season form.
Of course. It's July.
It is July.
You got time.
I got time. We're not even in fall camp yet. You know what I mean? As you like to say.
Preseason camp. It's not fall.
I don't know. It's just habit.
Yeah.
It's just is what it is.
August is not fall.
Some of these things you're going to have to just.
Every day of August is technically summer. I mean, it is still summer.
Some of these faults I have, you will just have to get used to. I will.
Fall does not begin until September the 21st.
It does.
Therefore, if the entire set of practices that one references all occur in August, and you're going to put a season in front of that particular word, you're going to call it camp.
But it's a fall season.
Then yes, but it's preseason camp because the entire camp occurs in the summer.
Details. All right.
You wouldn't go to a camp in early February and call it spring camp.
You call it spring training. Gotcha.
Shouldn't.
Boom.
It's preseason training.
But what do they call it?
But
what do they call it?
Hold on. But some of those practices occur in the spring because the spring begins
technically
in March 21st.
Technically, you practice in the fall as well.
So you should call it. But actually, some of the camp itself, I'm right on this.
I did get you with the baseball thing, though. You hadn't thought about that one before. I could tell.
But some of the training occurs in the
spring.
Brother,
when you show up for pitchers and catchers in January, it's not spring training.
It's February, but it's winter, yes. They should call it winter training.
All right. We'll start out. When you were at 30A, enjoying this beautiful beaches down there and the beautiful water, the Caribbean of America.
It was great. We did get a little rain one day, and that's okay. Laura and I went.
Rains at the beach.
Laura and I went and found a bar.
40% of the time.
It was great. And then one day there was a lot of algae in the water, which was like, okay.
Is that supposed to be bad for you?
People were like, "Oh, this sucks." I was like, "It's still the beach."
Is that supposed to be bad for you when there's algae in the water?
I don't know. It's not as it gets kind of all in your shorts and stuff. It gets on your boogie board and all that stuff, and you got to move it off.
Yeah,
got to go out and got to go deeper to find the waves.
I don't
have
that problem.
Got to go out a little further to find the waves.
While you were enjoying that and then dodging the algae and just all the fun things down at 30A, I decided, you know what? We didn't have anything. It was like the first weekend in like forever that we didn't have anything to do. I said, well, why not? I packed the boys up, dude. We hit a road trip, went up to the Quad Cities.
Oh yeah,
and follow our boy Taylor Moore around at the John Deere Classic. The John Deere Classic.
Good luck to the Hawkeyes this year. We got Hawkeyes.
A lot of Hawkeyes.
Our friend Sammy sent Hawkeyes coasters.
Oh,
here in the Clark Ford Studios.
How about that? I'll use one. How about that?
You have one.
Right I know. I see it right there. I'll switch it over to the Hawkeyes coaster. No, but went to it was first of all, it was awesome. You get in the car and it was the first time Knox had been on a trip like that. It was just the boys, and that was fun. But I was telling you before, once you get to St. Louis, between there and Davenport, Iowa, is nothing but corn and windmills. That's what exists between St. Louis and Davenport, Iowa. That's it. There was more. I think every piece of corn that's consumed by Americans is grown on that road.
Davenport's on the river, right?
It's the Quad Cities. So you have Davenport. I can see if I can remember this. You got Davenport, Moline, East Moline. I think it's Silvis, Illinois, and Beddendorf, maybe the town.
Okay.
But there's actually 5 cities in the Quad Cities. How about that? So it should be the Quint cities. It should be, but it's right there on the river. We went up and watched Taylor play Thursday, Friday, and then we came back Saturday. But shout out, how about this? Big shout out to Rod and Melinda. That's Rod and Melinda Moore. That's Taylor's parents.
Okay.
So Taylor told me that they were coming up as well. And they get to come out. It's pretty interesting. They get to come out about once a month to watch him play, and he's all over God's creation playing. I tell you what, I got into I was feeling, I don't even know, like I started having these parent feelings because the anxiety that Rod, and rightfully so, that Rod and Melinda were going through, like on Friday. Thursday, everything was great. Everybody had a good time. So everything's going good. And then, so Taylor leaves the 13th green on Friday at -1. And the cut was -5. So he's 4 away from the cut with 5 holes to play.
Okay.
And, obviously they get $0.00 if they don't make the cut.
Right.
Okay. So
kind of tension at that moment.
Kind of some tension.
Yeah.
And so, they were obviously they're wanting their kid to do well. And me and Brady, he was a friend of Taylor's. We were the hype crew. Me, Brock, and Brady were the hype men. So we were being very loud and boisterous every time he made a shot. And my man Taylor proceeded to go on a heater, birdied 4 consecutive holes, birdied 14, birdied 15, birdied 16, birdied 17, and then hits it in the bunker on 18. 18 is a very difficult hole. Hits in the bunker on 18. And somehow it was like, I don't know, like 190, 180 something to the hole from the bunker, right in the center, right in the center of the fairway. Center of the green. So he's got a 2-putt, and he rolls it by like, I want to say like 4 or 5 feet. So he's got a 5-footer to make the cut, and like I felt so like it was in a weird way. I felt a little bit felt for Rod and Melinda a little bit more than I did Taylor.
Yeah.
Taylor will be all right. He'll hit it. Because Taylor's got big nuts. I've actually changed his name in my phone to Taylor Big Nuts Moore.
Okay.
He is not scared to go for it. He will.
Oh, you meant that figuratively?
Yeah, figuratively. Yes, figuratively. Yes.
I was like,
but yeah,
people
no.
go to Davenport, Iowa, and things
change.
Things happen.
Things happen in Davenport, Iowa.
What happens in Davenport stays in Davenport.
But of course, he makes the putt, and just you could see the relief on the parents.
Sure.
I was like, so I didn't know who to console there for a couple of holes. I didn't know if it was I supposed to be hyping up Taylor or Rod and Melinda, but they're all such awesome people. So the best part is so his mom, Melinda's a teacher. She just retired.
Okay. Congratulations.
Yeah. Yep. And she just retired. And so we're out there on Thursday, and it's a boys' trip.
Mm-hmm.
So my kids are getting sunburned because I don't have any sunscreen. So Miss Melinda's out there putting sunscreen on my boys and stuff. She's like she adopted my kids for a little while, make sure they had sunscreen on, make sure they were hydrated. It was great.
Yep.
But no, it was a great time. We enjoyed it. Every time I go, I say this every time I go to a PGA event, it blows your mind how good these guys are.
Yes.
Like, if you haven't been.
I have been, and I have seen them play, and they're incredible.
I mean, you get on the range, right? And they're packed on the range. And
it's like watching Major League Baseball batting practice.
Yeah.
And you go, oh.
They can hit. You're saying they can hit it out of the park anytime they want to?
Yeah, they can do anything with the bat that they want.
Yes.
Yeah.
But they're on the range, and just everything's just a stripe show, And then they set these courses up, right? And they set these courses up, and this particular course is like a birdie fest, right? And you're sitting there, and it's like I'll go out there, and I'm like, this is a birdie fest? This course, it looks like the hardest course you've ever played in your life. You know what I mean? And you're like, this is the birdie fest? But it doesn't look that easy in person, but the walk is brutal. They say it's the third toughest walk on the PGA Tour.
Oh, really?
Behind Augusta, and because it's really hilly.
In Davenport, Iowa?
Brother, I can't describe it to you.
Huh.
It's just,
I mean, I'm surprised by that. I just don't know. Yeah.
There's spots. It's not really, there's like on hole 3, you feel like you're walking up the side of a mountain. Behind the Sony Open, which is on the side of a volcano in Hawaii and Augusta.
Yeah.
But it's
interesting.
It was.
Well, I guess you have like the bluffs of the river and stuff like that. So you have hills, and I don't know. I've never been. I don't know.
It was good. But shout out to Rod and Melinda. They were awesome meeting, and Taylor ends up, I think he finished tied 33rd, 30th, somewhere in there. And Taylor may be listening on the plane. So how about this? The grind of the PGA Tour, because he's trying to make the playoffs, and so. And he's been hurt. He's come back and he's starting to get ready to roll. He's actually played really well. I know he probably doesn't think he did, but I thought he played really well. Just get the putter rolling, a couple shots here and there. But I think he was 10 under, and I think 18 under won it, or tied for first. He was 10 under. He got it to 11. But here's the crazy. So Taylor, he's leaving. I think he left last night or left this morning. I can't remember. He's flying to Scotland. He's playing in the Scottish Open that tees off at 11. I don't know when he tees off yet, but they tee off at 11 p.m. our time, Wednesday night.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So he's playing in the Scottish Open. If he qualifies for the British, he'll play the British Open the next week. Right. If he doesn't, he will fly back from Scotland to play Thursday in California, and then go from, I think it's California to Minnesota, then playing a tournament in Minnesota, then Minnesota to North Carolina.
Oh, wow.
And then if he gets there, then he'll come to Memphis.
Oh, wow.
I mean,
when is the tournament in Memphis? That's a July tournament?
August. First week of August, I think.
Okay.
So he's got a busy July. He's just log a lot of
I might be really busy the first week of August, and I might be able to go caddy. I mean, I won't be able to help him caddy, but I can carry the bag.
Yeah.
Because I might have nothing but free time that week. I don't know.
I had my first caddy experience this morning. We had at the Ole Miss University golf course, my little man Knox played in his first ever golf tournament this morning. I was his caddy. I logged a lot of steps. I walked back and forth across that fairway and green about 14,000 times. I will say this on a podcast. I will not tell him this. We started. So yesterday, I take him out for a practice round yesterday. The worst thing that could ever happen to him. I think it was the first full 9 holes he had ever played in his life. We'd gone out and banged it around every once in a while, but it's the first time he played his own ball for 9 holes yesterday. Okay. He shoots a 45. Okay. Which was, he was playing out of his mind, Neal. Okay. And it was aided by on hole 2, hits a great drive. He tops one. He's about 40 yards out on hole 2 yesterday, and he holes it out from 40 yards at 9 years old. Okay. Birdies.
Mm-hmm.
This dude, y'all don't know my 9-year-old. This guy thinks he can roll out of bed and do literally there's nothing he can't do well. If you said, hey, I need you to go drive a NASCAR today. He's 9 years old. Like, yep, just give me somewhere I can see over the steering wheel. I got you. He just thought golf was the easy game. You know what I mean? And brother, this morning at the tee box, they served some humble pie this morning, boss.
How bad? Bless his heart.
He was spraying it today, and but I feel bad. So after the third hole, I was actually, because he actually putting he can do, right? He was just all over the place. He was an unfolded lawn chair. So after the third hole, I go, he's like, well, you reading the putts,
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, yeah, it's just out there to the left somewhere. It's gonna break right. I stopped giving him I was like, yeah, let's just get this thing over with. He was all over the place. So anyway,
couple super chats to catch up on real quick. Let's see. Kyle Wilson says, when this is all over, we all need to sit down with some Diet Millers, tell the story. I have so many questions. I bet you do. I got a lot of questions. I got so many questions. Grind says, is Hugh super confident about this season or just super oblivious to the pressure? He's going through a lot, but he seems more carefree. Too early for a hot board. Is this to make J.A. feel less pressure? I guess he means Jackson Arnold.
Yeah, the Auburn people are on. I saw it on social media. Aaron showed it to me the other day, and then I guess Lane tweeted something about it or something. I don't know, but I guess the Auburn fans are on Hugh for playing golf, and they're not doing well in recruiting for this next year's class.
I saw where Kiffin took no.
I
know.
It's so out of character for Lane. I can't believe he'd do anything like that. You can always tell when Lane's got control of his Twitter or somebody else does.
Yeah.
It's very obvious.
Yeah.
No, when it comes to the recruiting thing, I don't think they're signing as many players, one, but two is they're being extremely conservative with this rev share contract stuff about they're going by the letter of the law. Like you're not supposed to be able to present an official offer until August the 1st. Well, I don't know. We'll talk about one today. It's kind of, whatever, right? I don't care. Whatever. They're going by the letter of the law, and I think it slowed them down some. But they're, regardless of how well they do, I think they could get 8 5-stars, and I don't think they're going. I mean, rankings wise, I think the whole rankings thing's kind of out of whack. But I don't think they're signing as many guys. But is he confident? Yeah, I think they're going to be pretty good. I think he thinks they're going to be pretty good too. All right. This kind of leads right on in there. Good tee up there, Ryan. So this happened over the weekend, I guess. 5-star offensive tackle Felix Ojo has agreed to a 3-year. A reminder, he's an offensive tackle. 3-year, $5.1 million, all guaranteed agreement with Texas Tech. After we just talked about how he was doing letter of the law.
There are some conflicting reports on this, by the way. Matt Zenitz.
I got some conflicting too. Go ahead.
Matt Zenitz reported that it's that the guaranteed portion of this is more along the lines of $2.5 million, but that there's a clause in the contract that essentially says, I think this is interesting because this is covering a very realistic potential outcome. Essentially says that if, and I'm quoting Zenitz here, not quoting, I'm paraphrasing Zenitz here, who works at CBS 247, right?
Mm-hmm. I think he has before. He's also worked on 3.
Pretty sure he's at 247 now.
He's worked everywhere. He's good. I like him. He's a good dude. He's strong. He likes to work out. He's a bench press guy.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
He's swole.
Yeah. So he said that, and again, I'm paraphrasing his quote, but I think he used these words. If it returns to sort of the Wild Wild West version that was just in place a month ago, that it would be potentially worth as much as $5.1 million.
Gotcha.
So,
well, that's what
these
there were the report I saw. And again, this is why I was like, I did a little head scratcher. I was like, wait a minute. There's no way. I mean, if there is, I guess there is a way. There's no way that you're spending $1.7 million of your rev share per year on a high school offensive lineman.
So I wrote about this in 10 Thoughts.
It's not like you did. I mean, again, it's possible, right? You can do it.
You could. I wrote about this in 10 Thoughts. This is a math equation. Okay. So each school, after they figure it out, have roughly $18.5 million in rev share. If you use 85% of that money on football, it comes out to like 15.3 million-ish.
I know of teams between 13.5 and 16.5.
Yeah, I'm using ballpark numbers that are essentially accurate. Okay, you can obviously the numbers will be a little different for different schools depending on your percentage and how you do it. If you were to divide that number, and I know nobody will do this, so hang tight. Nobody is going to distribute their $15.3 million evenly among 105 scholarship players.
That is correct.
But if you did, for the sake of the math equation, if you did, it's like $150,000 per player-ish. Again, if you get hung up on specific numbers on this, you're really missing the point. So let $150,000 be your sort of, okay, general barometer. If you were to give one player, I don't care what position that player plays, $1.7 million of rev share, which you absolutely could do, but if you did it, that would be 1.55 million over the average that you would have to detract from other contracts, which you absolutely could do. But the point is,
you pay 20 people $75,000 to do that, to balance it back out.
So that's kind of the point that people are talking about. And look, I'm sure that somewhere there are going to be high-level players, just like in the NFL. What's the NFL salary cap? I don't even know. But there are players that make 20-something% of the cap.
Yeah, quarterbacks usually make between 15 and 18% of the cap.
So, I mean.
Left tackles, no. This would be about 10 depending on what their number is, it'd be between 10 and 12% of their cap.
Okay. So there you go.
So that's what I'm saying. It's like, and look, no problem with Felix. This dude can play now. He is a bona fide dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Guy can play. Like whoever stamped him, like these are the guys I always laugh about. Like my wife could watch this guy play and go, yeah, that guy's 5-star. I mean, this guy can play. He's legit. Okay. But 1.7 for a left tackle. Oh, because they don't leave a lot left. But, you sit there and like, there's so many, well, I haven't heard any. If you have, let me know. I haven't heard any of NIL Go issues last week. It seems to
Dude, I was so checked out. I have no clue.
I haven't heard.
I didn't hear of anything, but
if it has, I apologize.
Look, someone could have walked into our Airbnb and said, "Hey, there was a NIL Go issue," and I don't know that I would have been sober enough to have understood. I would have said,
"Well, yeah, what you said."
I don't know, man.
So look. Any way you want to look at it, there's going to be schools, any way you want to look at it, there are going to be schools that overpay for players. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
This is probably a little bit, that's why these numbers, if it is 3 years, 5.1 million, I don't know about that. But
even if it's what Zenit said, which is probably more close to what's actually accurate, him making, as a freshman offensive tackle, him making, let's call it $775 a year, which I think is about right. Okay.
I agree.
If that's the number, that's a big number, because again, if the average number is 150, if you were to divide it, if you were to do it, if you were to be a program of complete equality, 775 is 625 more than 150, which means you've got to make up that difference on the backside of your roster, which is, hey, look, incredibly doable on a 105 person roster, because there was a kid who committed to Sacramento State the other day, a wide receiver.
I saw that.
Okay. And some people kind of didn't get the point. The point was, well, they offered rev share. So here's a kid that SEC schools like. And back in the days when you were a recruiting coordinator, you'd have said, hey, look, we got to take this kid. He's got big time upside. It's going to take a couple years to develop him. But if we do it, and if we do it right and he hits, he's the type that could really hit.
If he hits.
Right.
Correct.
If he hits, he's the type that could really hit. Well, now schools will still take some of those guys. He had offers from Ole Miss and LSU and Tennessee and Mississippi State. Those kind of schools, but those schools aren't going to offer him.
They're not going to put value on it.
A full rev share or maybe any rev share. They're going to say, hey, we'll bring you to school. We'll put you in. No pressure this first year. We're not going to pay you, because you're not going to pay all 105. We're not going to pay you, but hey, you're going to get all. We're going to treat you like you're one of the highest paid guys. We're going to work you out. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Right. Because in this system, it's if it works out and you hit, we'll pay you. And if it doesn't work out and you don't hit, we'll say, hey, we'll help you land at Louisiana Tech.
Yeah.
Okay. Sacramento State went, all right, we can't get the kid if we make that same offer. So let's offer whatever they offered.
Yeah, I don't
know either. But so now the kid's got to decide, is it worth, let's call it $250,000 to go play one season at Sac State, knowing when everybody goes, man, Sacramento State. And I'm like, guys, it's one season. It's this. I mean, he could literally go play, have a good season, and hit the portal in December and get paid again. I mean, there was like,
free agency.
Everybody was like,
unless it's a
and I'm not making fun of anybody, but I saw people go, man, I just can't imagine. I'm like, you can't imagine taking a $250,000 gamble for 4 months?
Well, it's the same people, because it's fandom, Neal.
Because I could,
but it's fandom, Neal.
Yeah, no, I understand. I'm not criticizing it. I'm trying to say that, and I wrote this in 10 Thoughts, and credit to Billy Embody at On 3, because he referenced rev share on a kid that went to UCF, and it's what kind of sparked the thought in my head at the time was, this is the stuff that we've got to start asking about and writing about. It's like NBA free agency, which is going on right now. A lot of moves. If you look at the moves on surface, you're like, what in the hell are the whatever's doing, right? But the answer is, well, they're trying to get underneath the first apron. It's a financial move. It's not really a basketball move. Utah traded for Kevin Love today, not because Kevin Love's going to come in and play. It's because it gave them a contract that they could buy out and stretch and create a full MLE, mid-level exemption. Everything is a financial move. Not everything in college athletics is going to be a financial move, but certainly more so now than ever before, moves are financial, and financial stuff will factor into decisions.
Yeah. It's just like the 45-year-old fan can understand that. It's the same thing with coaches, right? When coaches like there was this whole deal with I remember people, not many, but I do remember people being upset, couldn't understand why Hugh Freeze left Arkansas State to go to Ole Miss. I was like, huh? What's not to understand? You know, if somebody gives you a 400 to 500% raise, are you taking the job, Neal?
Yes. Anywhere.
But you know what I'm saying? Like every fan would too, but they go, oh my, you know, by gosh, Regions Bank. I ain't leaving Regions Bank to go to Wells Fargo. By God, I'm a Regions Bank guy. All right, let Wells Fargo throw a 500% raise at your ass for your same job.
Yeah.
We see you.
Is there anywhere I mean, outside of the obvious, like you wouldn't go to North Korea for 500% raise. But outside of like something insane, is there anything you would turn down for a 500% raise?
Me?
Yeah.
Hell no.
Yeah, same.
No. I really don't think there is anything. Hell, you may could say North Korea, Neal.
Well, no, because you would never get to enjoy the money.
You never know.
I think you'd know.
You never. Yeah, I would probably know. Yeah, they'd probably let me know. I consider.
I think you'd know.
500% raise. Yeah, I'd think about it. All right. Shout out. This is another shout out. Oklahoma AD Joe Castiglione has announced that he will retire at the end of the year. 28 years at Oklahoma. Tip of the hat. I think the guy's done a great job. I mean, you think about everything. I thought about this today. You know, he's only had 3 football coaches. That's pretty impressive.
That is impressive.
Hey, in today's world, I mean, the guy's had Stoops. He had Stoops. He had Lincoln Riley, and he's had Venables.
I can tell you that Matt Mott, former Ole Miss soccer coach, now the coach at Oklahoma, raves about Joe Castiglione. Yeah. Just raves about what it's like to work for him.
Tip of the cap. 28 years, 67 years young. He's going to stick around and kind of do some stuff. I think he's going to get to hire his successor, and kind of stick around and help in some fundraising stuff. But yeah, man, it's 67 years old. I hope you go off in the sunset and enjoy it. The guy's done a hell of a job. I mean, you think about it, they've been really, what has Oklahoma not been competitive at since he's been there? I mean, they've been good at basketball.
Really, they've been great at everything.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like a well-rounded AD.
Yeah. Been a strong basketball program, been an elite softball program, baseball program that made to the finals of the College World Series. Yeah.
Yeah. So shout out. I mean, that's a hell of a career, sir. Hell of a career. Very, very well-deserved retirement. All right. This next one, I can't wait to get your opinion on this one. So I saw this today, and I've been hearing this from other players. I'm not going to go into them. Some are high school players. I'm not going to go into it and play these games. But there's a friend of mine that also worked in the front office world of college athletics, and he's now doing podcasts and stuff like that. And we were talking about this a few weeks ago, and I'll be damned if I didn't see another one. So it appears that our friends at Adidas are getting active in the NIL world.
Yeah.
Ohio State receiver Jeremiah Smith.
Yep.
JG signs a NIL deal with Adidas.
Okay.
He plays for a Nike school.
Okay.
I'm so curious how this is going to work out.
Going to be some conflict.
It's going to be interesting. There are the first one before JJ. There is a young high school wide receiver. Okay.
Okay.
He is committed to a school that's Nike, and Adidas is trying to sign him as well. And so I'm trying to figure out, like, back in the basketball days when we had all the federal cases and all that stuff that happened about 6-7 years ago. Remember that with your boy? Like the feds came in and wiretapped everybody, and all these guys got in trouble with the Adidas and all that stuff. The college basketball coaches.
Yeah. Bill Self and all them. Yeah.
All right. So Adidas used to work to sign kids for Adidas schools in basketball, and Nike. You remember that how they did that? The whole shoe thing worked in basketball.
Yes.
Why? It ain't working like that in football. I'm trying to figure out how this is genuinely going to work, because in the NFL, you have to like spat over all your stuff. Like if you're with another company, you can't go out there. You're not going to see people with logos of other stuff. You have to like spat it up or cover it up. I know people I've heard stories of people spat, maybe if it's NFL was with Reebok, they had like I think the shoe was called Apex at one time that they had in NFL 100 years ago. People would like spat up their Nikes and then draw the other logo on their shoe. Like, I'm genuinely curious how this is going to work in college football. You know what I mean?
Well, and Nike is going to say, and they're right, that they pay a fee to the schools for their athletes to wear their products. And yet, again, this is one of those deals where here we are.
And it's no big deal. I don't care. I'm just genuinely curious.
But if I'm Nike, I care.
I'm just genuinely curious.
I mean, Ohio State. If I'm Nike, in the world of college football, Ohio State's one of my big customers.
Yeah.
And he's their best player, Heisman candidate, the whole situation. I mean, yeah, if the fourth string tight end has a deal with Puma, I'm like, okay, fine. He can wear his Pumas. I don't care. But this is a kid that, assuming he stays healthy, is going to be talked about and showcased a lot.
Yeah.
And people are going to look at what shoes he wears. Because young people look at shoes.
They do.
They do. Young people buy shoes. There's a reason that when the Thunder won the title, one of the very first things Shai Gilgeous-Alexander did was grab a pair of gold Shays, whatever he calls them.
Yep.
I mean,
there'll only be one Jordan, though.
But you understand the point.
I do. Everybody gets their own shoes, but Jordans have lasted the length of time. But, dude, I'm just like, bro, I mean, like, I'm just genuinely curious. Like, there was a kid there's a high school kid, a receiver, that I know that this is going down with as well. I don't even know if it's public, so I'm not going to say it. I don't want to throw his business out there. But he's committed to a Nike school. And somebody's like, what do you think's going on with his recruitment? And this is like 3 weeks ago. I was like, brother, I can tell you this. I said, if he just signed an Adidas deal, I'd be going to look to see what teams he's interested in their Adidas schools. And he was like, yeah. And then all of a sudden this happens. I'm like, I guess they don't give a shit anymore. Like, I don't know how this works. I feel like a fish out of water. I don't know what to do with my hands. I don't know what's going on. It's very strange to me. I don't know, like, they going to just spat up, or they going to, I don't know. I don't know. And
well, it's probably something that right now they don't know. It's probably something that's going to have a lot of meetings, and a lot of people are going to talk about it, and a lot of people are going to get angry, and Nike's going to probably get pissed off. And yet,
well, why haven't we had this problems yet, though? You know what I'm saying?
Because individual kids couldn't do NIL deals.
The last 3 or 4 years they could, though.
I mean, kind of. But the companies never really got.
I got to start getting into it.
The companies have watched. I can tell you this from talking to people. Companies have watched this closely.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, now, if the House settlement holds, and if this NIL Go thing is real, I'm not saying it's not. I said if.
No, that's what I've been saying. If the whole time. If
that holds, and if it's
F.
real, well, then you have to do something, and advertising for Adidas would be doing something.
Yeah, no,
it's
market value.
So it enables him to make real NIL dollars because he's a very marketable player.
Yeah, he's not going to have money making real NIL money. There's not many people out there, but he is one that will not have a problem. He's the best receiver in the country. I don't care who you bring up. He is the best wide receiver in America, and he is in his own class. He's a different dude.
Yes.
But yeah, just interested to see how that goes. Neal, I want to play a game with you. No Diddy. Speaking of, no Diddy. Okay. But before we play that game,
yes.
Did you know it's summertime?
Oh, yes, I did.
Did you know it's hot outside?
Oh, I get to go mow when you leave.
But guess what, Neal? At Kia of Meridian, the deals are hotter. They have 1.9% on the 2025 Sorento and Sportage. Do you need a low payment and a great warranty? The Kia K4 has payments as low as $379 a month. With school sports fast approaching, what better way to get there than a brand new Kia Carnival? They have over 70 new vehicles in stock, so come see us or give us a call at area code 601-483-6444. And do not forget that when you buy a new car or a used car from Kia Meridian, you get to spin the wheel and win awesome prizes like a PS5, an Xbox, a TV, and more. So check them out on TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. They're a great TikTok follow, just so everybody knows. If you are a TikToker, follow Kia Meridian. It's a great follow. They do a great job. Neal, we're also brought to you by the official RV dealer, County Line Campers. The campers are perfect. Right there at County Line Campers are perfect for escaping your in-laws. Perfect for pretending you're roughing it, because tents are for college kids and people who hate happiness. Right now, you can get brand new or used RVs for cheaper than you can your grocery bill every month.
No.
Think about that.
How about that?
A lot cheaper, actually. I mean, for basically what you spend on groceries in a week these days, you can get you an RV right now from County Line Campers. For folks who like RVs the way they like their socks and underwear, completely untouched. They have over 100 new RVs to choose from. We've also got dozens of new RVs with payments under $350 a month, less than your bar tab. 7 days a week. Come see them. Go see Rob and Miss Destiny right there off I-10, exit 38 in Gulfport, Mississippi. Check them out at countylinecampers.com and check them out on TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram and YouTube.
We're also brought to you by my good friend Andy Ludicky. Andy is at myperfectfranchise.net. Listen, if you're wanting to get out of corporate America, looking for your next business venture, you're interested in learning about buying a business or a franchise, Andy can help you. He's a longtime board member. Start to say rivals. Force of habit.
Is he a new board member?
He likes sports. All right?
He'll be on a board soon.
On a board coming to you.
Coming to you.
At some
soon.
point.
Sometime in the next, I don't know, 24 days.
I mean, maybe 24 days. Maybe 114 days. Who knows? Who's counting?
24, 114, one or the other.
Yeah.
Andy will be there to greet you.
And when he does, you should talk to him about his process, his services, because they are free. It's a no-brainer for those of you wanting to get into business ownership. By the way, he'll do an NIL deal with your favorite college baseball team. He's a big college baseball guy. You're an Auburn fan. You're an Iowa fan. I don't know. Tennessee. Mississippi State.
About Western Illinois. I drove by that place the other day.
Western Illinois.
Do you know what their nickname is?
The Blue Hawks.
Leathernecks.
Leathernecks. That's my next guess. You do business with Andy. He'll donate between $500 and $1,000 to your favorite baseball team's NIL. Just by getting in touch with him, learning about his business, talking to him, let him figure out what's best for you and if it's a good fit. So call him. He's a great guy, ton of business experience to lean on throughout the process. It's Andy at myperfectfranchise.net or 404-973-9901. Over the course of the last couple of weeks, I have done my part to keep our friends at Parish Brewing Company afloat. One day, my post-run recovery at 8:54 in the morning was a Parish Brewing Company product. It was.
That's really impressive.
Laura was not as impressed as I
Tell
was.
Laura had enough sodium in it. You had to get your electrolytes back.
I said, it's the best recovery. I said, listen, Laura, when I ran the Chicago Marathon, when you finished that race, finished it twice, you crossed the line, they give you two things. They give you two things. They give you this aluminum kind of blanket thing to keep you warm.
Okay.
And they give you a Goose Island IPA. That's what they give you. So listen, when people say, well, I mean, I don't really know that beer is the great recovery drink.
It's not what the Chicago Marathon says.
That's not what scientists say. And who am I to question science? I mean, huh?
You are turning over and you leave. Things are changing for you, Neal. I mean, you haven't shaved over there. It's the first time I've seen you unshaved in a long time.
It has been a minute. Yeah.
I'm still. You're falling apart over here. Neal's falling apart today.
Yeah, Laura sent out this text this morning to everybody. But hey, it was fun while it lasted. Back to work. And I said, for some of you. Not for me.
Drinks on you.
Is it too early to open a Ghost in the Machine?
You should hey, you know what would be awesome is tomorrow morning when you do your doing your show tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
You crack one open. 820. Just
Chase will look at me. I'll be like, dude, I've already done my run. Yeah. And as soon as this is over, I'm through for the day.
I'm done.
We're brought to you by Parish Brewing Company. They're located in the heart of Cajun country in Broussard, Louisiana. Their simple goal is to make awesome craft brewed beer, and they do it. I tried many of their products over the last couple of weeks. Pescador is excellent. Really, it's like a lager with a little hint of lime. Fantastic. If you're going to the beach, grab some of that. You'll love it. Got the Doctor, Dr. Juice. Fantastic. You got Juice and you got Ghost in the Machine. You got Envy, so much more. Cane Break, lots and lots of products out there. If they say Parish Brewing Company, it's absolutely worth trying. You'll love them. It's Parish Brewing Company, wherever you get your beer, your restaurant, your favorite bar, grocery store, liquor store, whatever the case may be. Look for Parish Brewing Company. You'll be glad you did.
All right. We're going to play a little game. You like playing games?
Yeah. Yeah, we played games at the beach. We played I can't remember the name of it. You had to pretend to be a character. You were a character, and people had to guess if you were that character.
Charades.
We did play some charades.
It's classic.
It was fun.
All right, Neal, here's the game. I want you to, we're going to have a little conversation. Coaches that you think are on the hot seat in 2025.
Okay.
Who's the first one that comes to mind?
SEC.
Yeah, we'll start SEC. Who is on the hot seat?
Okay, well, the ones that
in your opinion.
And the ones that come to mind, the first one that came to mind was Stoops at Kentucky.
Okay.
Sam Pittman at Arkansas.
Okay.
I know you disagree with this, which is fine. We're free to disagree. I think Hugh Freeze is on a warm seat that could get hot fast. That's probably it.
Okay. So
I mean, I don't buy the Jeff Lebby hot seat stuff in year two. I think it's ludicrous.
Yeah, that's
I don't buy the Caden DeBoer ridiculousness. I'm sorry, that's insane. I think Billy Napier has worked his way off of the warm seat to where he's at least on just kind of on a room temperature seat. And then most of the other guys, their seats are kind of cool, like Sarkisian and Kirby, obviously, and Kiffin and Eli Drinkwitz. I mean, they'd have to do something scandalous
they would have to get themselves fired.
Yeah, it's a good way to put it. Yeah, they'd have to fire themselves. They're real. It's not realistic.
The only way they're not there is if they don't get a buyout because they do something like that.
Yeah, Small Town Republic says Brent Venables could get warm. Yeah, I agree with that, but I would put him on a at worst, I should say, from this conversation, he's on a very lukewarm. I mean, just tepid seat. The water, if you were to take the water equivalent of the heat that is on his seat, it would not burn your hand.
All right, so I'm glad you. So I got some names written down. We'll go over, unless there was one I missed, we'll go over the other ones. So let's talk about this. So I get asked this a lot about, hey, this guy's on a hot seat. I think, and this is why I wanted to start this, because we'll start gearing into football as the episodes go on here. Mm-hmm. SEC Media Days are here next week. Is that true?
If a tree falls in a forest and you don't hear it or see it fall, does it really happen? We're going to find out. I don't know.
So we're going to start this, and we're going to I'm going to try to I don't know if squash is the right word, but we're going to try to, here on the McCready and Siskey show, we're going to try to put people in the right mindset going forward in 2025. Times have changed, Mr. Neal.
I think you and I are going to disagree on this. Go ahead.
Okay,
Go
times
ahead.
have changed.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right.
Mark Stoops was the first one we brought up.
Okay.
If Mark Stoops is dismissed following the 2025 season,
correct,
he is owed $37.5 million. Mm-hmm. And when you see what athletic departments are doing, and it was kind of funny, I'm not going to obviously not out the guy. I literally got a text message while we're sitting here, and I was getting ready to do this deal. This text message is from somebody that listens to our show.
Okay.
And he said, hey, I'm listening right now. I'm listening to your show, your last show that y'all did about RevShare. And he goes, I interviewed for a prominent SEC program. I'll leave it at that. Prominent SEC program. And they could not match my salary because of RevShare. And so my point of the drill is this: I think these buyouts.
I know where you're going.
I think these buyouts are going to have to get to a point. Now, I'm not by any stretch of the imagination saying, hey, somebody goes 0-12 or something like that. Mm-hmm. It may get to that point.
Sure.
But I think in some of these cases, it's going to have to be so bad that when you look at Stoops, $37.5 million, that's a lot of money, guys.
Sure. No,
particularly
absolutely.
when you're having to come up. This year's at 20.5, next year's going up. So you're going to have to come up with rev share, which is probably going to, I think 22 is the right number. I'm guessing on that one. I think it's around 22 next year. So you're basically going to have to come up with $60.5 million plus the money you're going to have to pay the new staff with.
Yep.
Oh
no, it's
a serious issue there, right? So that's just something to keep in mind.
Well, it's almost one of those things that if you can't get the money on hand from outside sources to do it, maybe you can't do it.
Right.
Right.
And that's just things to keep in mind on the buyouts. Before you can really discuss hot seats, you probably need to look at your coach's buyout. Freeze is $20.3 million. Okay.
Yeah.
Pittman's is very interesting. Pittman's got 2 years left. His is if they win 7 games.
Yeah.
It's 75% of his buyout. If he wins 6 or less, it's 50% of his buyout. Or his remaining guarantee.
Yeah.
So his
deal is in a world where he in a world where he won 7 games, they're not firing.
So he's only got 2 years left. His would be $7.5 million. If they won 7 games, but I'm with you. If they win 7, they're not.
I will say this about that program from things I've heard. Anything less than 6 wins, and I don't think they would. I think they would eat the money.
Yeah. Here's the thing: is Sam's one of those guys that that would make me happy to see the guy go out on his own terms.
Sure.
Maybe because I think he's going to retire anyway. I think he's already kind of hinted at that at the end of this deal. I just don't, But anyway, I like Sam. I'm a fan of Sam Pittman. I like him.
The interesting thing with Arkansas, as it pertains to Pittman, is if you told me that he won 7 games or more, which I don't think he will, but if you told me that he did, I think he might walk away on his own volition. And obviously, if he does what I think they'll do, which is lose 7 or more, he'll probably be pushed out, but I think he'll be allowed to kind of still make it appear that he's leaving on his own volition. What's interesting with Arkansas will be in this new, if the House settlement holds, they're one of those programs.
I'm watching.
They're one of those programs because of all of the stuff that's up there. They're one of those programs that if you found someone in a leadership position who could captivate some of that, that's a program to watch.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't, it's not. But that they haven't right now. I mean, they're not tearing it up on the NIL front in football. They are in some other sports, but they're not in football.
They could really, with their people that they have around in that area, they could really fudge they could really bend their budget real quick in a good way.
Yeah.
They could extend their cap really quick.
And so it's one of those things where it's a chicken and the egg thing.
Yep.
It's one of those things that would be attractive. You and I both know some coaches who would be interested in that job. It would be attractive to those people, but the only way they take that job is if some of that stuff is happening and coming to fruition. And so the first question that someone would have would be, if you were interviewing me and I were a hot young coach and you were interviewing me for the Arkansas job, my question would be, all right, so let me get this right. Everybody up there likes Sam Pittman, right? And the answer to that is, yeah. Generally, everybody really likes Sam Pittman up there, the person.
Great dude.
If everybody really likes him, why has nobody gotten it going? And I'd have to get that answer.
Yeah.
Like you'd have to make me believe that answer before I went down that road a little bit, because historically over the last really since 2011, so you're talking 14 years, which is a pretty big sample size, 14 seasons, they really haven't gotten it going. I mean, I know Pittman had the 1 year, I guess it was the COVID year where they had a pretty good season, or maybe it was the year after COVID. I don't remember. Yeah, it was 2021. They had a pretty good run at it. They've won some big games up there. They have a big following. They have beautiful facilities. They've got a lot of stuff, but they don't have a recent history of doing anything at all in this era. And so you'd have to convince me that something was going to flip for me that would put those things going in a way that it's gotten going for multiple basketball coaches there, and in a way that it's obviously gotten going for baseball, where he's been able to recruit at a really high level, in baseball in this NIL rev share, really NIL era. The rev share era just started, but in this NIL era, he's been able to do it. 2 basketball coaches have been able to do it, Musselman and now Calipari, but you haven't been able to get it done in football at all with a guy that everybody likes. Like, it'd be one thing if it were like a coach that
was a pain. Yeah,
that was a pain in the ass, and half the people just really hated the guy. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's what's interesting to me about that job.
I think that's also where I like Sam a lot as a person. I like Petrino a lot. I've got a chance to get to know him a little bit. If they commit to it, and there's going to have to be, but that's the thing, right? Is I think even in the NIL world, okay, basketball and baseball were competing for collective dollars, even in the previous world, right? And there's a lot of schools that didn't have to do that.
It's one of the questions I have about Kentucky, right? Is that like
Kentucky,
you can go fire Stoops, and someone can say, here's $37 million. Here you go.
Yeah.
Fire him. Okay, well, that's easy now. Now, if I'm the next guy, right? Everybody always, I know he's your buddy, and I like him too. We're friends. Not like you are, but we're friends. Everyone's going to mention the name right away, so I'm not violating any confidences here. Everyone's going to do that's John Summerall's job. And it probably is. But if I'm John, one of the questions I ask right off the top is, look, I got a good gig. I'm going to have better offerings coming my way. John believes he's going to win. He won at Troy. He's won at Tulane. He's probably going to keep winning at Tulane. Yeah, I know Kentucky's home. And Kentucky's awesome, by the way. Lexington's a really cool town. The whole state, in the fall, when Keeneland's going on and all that stuff, Lexington kicks ass. And you've got the bourbon stuff, and Lexington's cool. Kentucky's a cool state.
It's one of the coolest places to fly into because you're flying over when you're landing.
Yeah.
Over those horse farms and stuff.
Yeah, it's badass. I mean, I'm a big Kentucky. I love Kentucky. I think it's cool. Great uniforms, the stuff. They got facilities. They got lots of money. Everybody, all that stuff. Not a terrible place to live. You get all 4 seasons, the whole shooting match. But one of the questions I would have is, all right, but am I going to have to fight? Am I going to have to fight this basketball program day in and day out?
Yes.
And if I have to fight it, and look, if you're at Kentucky, you want basketball to win because that gets people excited there. Right. They love it.
Yeah.
But I got to be able to compete. I got to be able to. I can't fight every single business. I can't fight every corporation because I don't have in football the passion and the pageantry and all of that stuff that goes with Kentucky basketball. And if you've never been to a Kentucky home basketball game at Rupp Arena, but no, you really got to go to a home one. Go to a home one at Rupp Arena and go, oh, it's different here.
Yeah.
And so you got to be able to overcome those things. And that's why, like, to your point on the hot seat stuff, this new era, it won't be the coach doing it, but these coaches are going to have their agents and their agents people doing a lot of deep dives on let's get serious about our ability to compete in this space.
Well, that's my point on, and Grind brought it up. I think Grind, you and I are thinking alike here. That's kind of my point on Kentucky, right? Is if you're not going to pay your secondary sport, okay?
Right.
And I think we can sit here and talk about, Kentucky basketball and then Kentucky football. If you ask the fans, they're going to say basketball, right? Kentucky fan, they're probably going to say basketball is the primary sport.
Yeah.
Okay. No other secondary sport on any campus would pay a $37.5 million buyout to a coach that's a secondary sport.
Agreed.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
so
100%.
So what you're getting out of March, you know what I'm saying? Like that's the question.
Yeah. No, it's why, I mean, if deep down, if you're at Kentucky, what you're really hoping for here is that they find a way to win 6-7 games. Win 7 games. Get the heat off.
So Venables 34.9. By the way, I think they're going to be good. Their schedule's a bitch.
See, I think they're going to be good too. But in a world where you told me that they went 5-7 or something, I would tell you that Oklahoma bites the bullet.
And then for the record,
and looks at this and goes, "Hey, we've got it," because it matters too much there.
Yeah, and for the record, I think Auburn's going to be good too. I think he's going to win enough. Brian Kelly, I always get the LSU question. Always on TikTok lives, I get LSU questions every time this is brought up. How about this? Good day to be Brian Kelly. So for all LSU fans, let's just keep this in mind. No matter how it goes, no matter if you go to Clemson and lose another opener, no matter if you don't make the playoffs, although I think LSU is going to be really good this year. Brian Kelly, $51.7 million, Neal. 51.7.
Yeah, it's not happening.
million.
And by the way, LSU is going to be really good.
Hey, next year, Neal, if this year wasn't enough, and next year, you come next year and go, that's not good enough, Neal. Next year, $42.6 million at the end of 2026. It's a good day to be Brian Kelly. Yeah, he ain't going anywhere. So, always get those questions on Brian Kelly. And then who was that was next year. But I guess that's my point is like we talked about it on the last show is there's no money tree. And so you got to be very careful when you're trying to raise this money.
I wish I could plant one.
It would be awesome, wouldn't it?
Oh my God. If I could have found a money tree when I was at 38, I would have bought one of those places.
It's just not like
just walked up and bought one.
The money that was used to buy out coaches is now being used to buy the players.
Mm-hmm.
And so, again, like we talked about, there's no Scrooge McDuck. They're not sitting on and hoarding this money. They moved a significant amount of money that's going to pay the players every year.
Yep.
And here's the other thing to keep in mind, okay? When you're buying out coaches, you're sending one out the door and you're bringing one in. With the players at $20.5 million, you're doing that every year.
Yeah.
It's year after year after year after year after year.
For sure.
So this is a multi-year problem. It's not just a one-time problem.
For sure.
All right. Before we get to life advice, I got one quick question for you before we get to life advice. Then we'll get out of here. As we enter the 2025 football season,
okay,
you can pick one team that
ULM.
you would bet anything on that makes the playoffs.
ULM.
Who is it?
ULM.
One
Warhawks.
team. Warhawks.
One team.
You got one team.
Any league?
Any league, any team, one team you think makes the playoffs. Who's the safest bet that you think just to make the playoffs?
Just to make the playoffs.
The safest play you got.
Ohio State.
Ohio State. Interesting. Ohio State, I think, is going to be a really good team as they get closer. Julian Sayin will be the starting quarterback. You know, he's got to get off to a good start.
I mean, they got to lose at least 3 times for them not to make the playoffs. And in that league,
they do have to play Texas early.
They do.
And then and that's not saying they're not going to win the game.
And then the next one for me would be either Georgia or Texas. And I think both Georgia and Texas will make the playoff.
I have gone back and forth on this one. I'm going to say the safest bet to make the playoffs, I'm going to go with Georgia. I almost went Alabama, though. But I'm going to go Georgia. I don't think Alabama loses 3 games. I think that I'm going there. Connor in the chat, Cooper Chevrolet chat says Texas Tech. I would actually think I almost went the safest bet. I almost went Arizona State. But you're going to have to win the league.
Well, if I knew the Big 12 a little better, I might take a team that I thought had a competitive advantage in the Big 12 and just jump at it because that league top to bottom is pretty day.
Yeah, the only reason I didn't go Arizona State is because Connor said Texas Tech. Texas Tech is spent. They're going to have a great roster. I mean, they are. They're going to have a great roster. Then Arizona State's got 17 starters coming back from the team that went to the playoffs.
Yeah.
So I think it's safest. If you told me I could have both of them, I think that would be the safest bet, 1 or 2.
Okay.
All right, Neal's got some life advice. Neal, tell me about my good friend, Cole Walters, who's now licensed
in Georgia and Alabama.
Alabama.
The sweet whole state of Alabama. Alabama. Life advice is presented by Cole Walters of State Farm Insurance. Cole is licensed in auto, home, life, health, business, and pet insurance for the whole states of Georgia
and
Alabama.
The sweet home. The sweet home, Neal. That's home.
It was home for me for 11 years.
It's home. I don't know.
Actually, the first 3 years of my life and then 11 years as an adult. So 14 years of my life were spent as an Alabamian.
Isn't it weird, real quick, before you go, is like you sit there and you like, when you drive by home, like, because I going to Atlanta, you know, I'll stop, but like, I don't know, something about home, man. You just get a little, like, it's home.
Yeah.
You see the.
We got to go to Ruston for my niece's wedding, and it was like I made jokes about it, but it was kind of sentimental. It was like, I told you, we got back and we ordered Johnny's Pizza one night, and it was like going back in time, man. It was being home, driving around, even though it doesn't really look the same anymore.
It doesn't do that. It doesn't look. My hometown doesn't look anything like.
But like, the roads are laid out the same. I know how to maneuver.
Yeah.
And it was like being like the girls wanted a tour, and so I'm giving them a tour of Ruston, and my wife's making fun of it because she's like, I've gotten this tour before, and I'm like,
oh, my kids do all the time. I'll like, hey, that's where I play. You know, they're like, oh, we know you showing me. You know, like I'm turning that guy. But go back home, get me a Mata's pizza. Shout out to Mata's.
Yeah.
All right.
Life advice by Cole Walters, 706-525-7850. You can also find him online at colewaltersinsurance.com. Here it is. After a couple of years of trying to have a baby, we just found out my wife is pregnant with our first child. This is a person talking, not me.
Congratulations.
Not me. It's still very early. She's only 4 weeks along. We're both very excited. We're in our early 30s. My wife has some health issues that make this a high-risk pregnancy, so we're trying to measure our excitement with the real possibility that something might happen since the pregnancy is still very early. We're trying to decide when we should tell our very close friends and family about the pregnancy. It's hard to hold this as a secret when we have tried for so long. I know the general rule is to wait for longer and only tell people who you would be comfortable telling if something goes wrong. We are leaning towards telling our parents and closest friends at the 6-week mark, the reasoning being that they could also provide support if things don't go as planned. Any advice? When did both of you tell people you were expecting? I appreciate your advice and keep up the great work with the show. So yeah, I have a personal perspective on this one. Our first pregnancy was lost at around the 12-week mark. By that point, most people knew that Laura was pregnant in our lives. Parents knew, sisters, brothers, friends in the neighborhood knew. She had to have the D&C procedure. And when she came back from that, I mean, I've told this story before. It's one of the moments that I really remember about my life. That afternoon, we found out I'll tell you when it was. Laura would laugh at this because I identify everything through sports. We knew there was a problem. It was the night that the Lakers with Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal won their first title. They beat the Indiana Pacers. It was the night that they clinched. We spent that night stressed out. Turns out the next morning our stress was validated. We had lost the child. And so they scheduled the D&C for the next day. And so we had the D&C the next day, which is an outpatient procedure. And I remember we lived on a street in Mobile called Japonica Avenue with a lot of young couples that were our age.
Midtown, right?
Yep. A lot of young couples that were our age, some of whom were still friends of ours to this day. We made more friends in that little time. But a lot of at that point, young women on that street had gone through something similar. So I remember Laura leaving and going across the street to Allison Osing's house to be comforted by other females. Me, being a big tough guy, I went out and mowed the yard. And I had 2 dogs, Wrigley and Miller. And Miller they're both labs. Miller was a black lab who, whenever I mowed, he had this Frisbee. And he would drop the Frisbee in front of the mower. So I'd have to throw the damn Frisbee.
Smart dog.
Yeah, he was very smart. And I'd have to throw the Frisbee. And on this day, when I started mowing, I think he could tell. I mean, I was emotional. It was an emotional day. And that was the one day that Miller picked up his Frisbee and never dropped it. He walked kind of back behind me on I guess the grass kicked out to the right, and he walked back behind me on the left, walked with me the entire time. Never dropped the Frisbee. Not one time. The next time I mowed the yard, he dropped the Frisbee.
Dog's
but that time it was like something in that dog's
intuition
brain said, today I'm just going to be his dog. I'm just going to hang with him. I'm not going to ask him to throw a Frisbee today. It's hot. This was June. It's hot. He's sad. I'm just going to be his buddy. Damnedest thing. But to answer your question, my life advice would be, as hard as it is, I would wait till you get to 12 weeks.
Yeah.
If you get past 12 weeks, the odds of something going wrong are a lot slimmer. And look, if something happens, you can still tell people something happened, people close in your life, but you don't have to go through the pain of everybody getting super excited and people starting to give you gifts and things, and then something happens. And you know, I don't know the specifics with your wife, but you know, obviously if it's a high risk, then the risk is real. And I would just focus on yourselves and taking care of her. And my advice would be to wait a while to tell people.
Yeah, that's what if it's a high risk, I would wait first trimester, into the first trimester, you know, go starting the second trimester. That's kind of what they tell you anyway. But I know it's tough with the first one, because I remember our first one, when Aaron was pregnant with Jackson, we told our parents. I don't think we told our friends till later, but told our parents a little earlier. I don't remember the other two. That's what happens when you have kids. You kind of forget. But I don't remember with the other two.
Yeah, with Campbell, we waited a while. And then with the other two, I'm the same way. I think we waited till 12 weeks to tell people.
Because we were, because I was 36, 37, 38. I don't know. Aaron was, I don't remember how old we had Knox. So we were a little bit later, because Aaron was over I think she was over 35 or at 35, 36, something like that. But we waited for a while. But yeah, that's, it's always a, you know, would you, I think it's okay to tell I would say after,
I mean, I think you can
8 weeks, tell your parents.
I think you can tell your parents basically now. I mean, I just wouldn't tell.
I wouldn't tell everybody.
I just wouldn't make it where it's a topic of conversation among everybody just yet. That would be me.
It's like, I'll give you,
because that's look, if the worst happens, it's sad. It happens to a lot of people. There's a lot of people, especially if it's your first. You know, it's sad and it's depressing, and it feels like because it's a real body blow kind of thing. I just wouldn't want to have that conversation with a ton of people.
Yeah.
But that's me. And maybe everybody's different, right? Maybe some people.
Well, I was saying, I wouldn't want, I mean, I don't care about my parents.
Right.
Or even my brother or sister, you know, whatever. I'd be okay with that. But not with anybody else. That's all I got today, boss.
Appreciate everyone for being with us in the stream. Again, we've been brought to you by our friends at Rain Total Body Fuel. 300 milligrams natural caffeine, BCAAs, electrolytes, zero sugar. It's got what you need to push the limits, achieve your goals. Check them out on Instagram at Rain Body Fuel to learn more.
Neal, we're also been brought to you by Kia Meridian. It's summertime and it's hot, but the deals at Kia Meridian are even hotter. They have 1.9% on the 2025 Sorento and Sportage. Do you need a low payment and great warranty? The Kia K4 has payments as low as $379 a month. With school sports fast approaching, what better way to get there than a brand new Kia Carnival? They have over 70 new vehicles in stock, so come see us or give us a call at area code 601-483-6444. And don't forget, when you buy a new or used vehicle from Kia Meridian, go in there and say, Trav. I saw Trav in the chat. Shout out to Trav. I just bought that car. You know what I want to do? I want to spin the wheel and win awesome prizes like a PS5, an Xbox, a TV, and more. So check them out at Kia of Meridian.
See you guys on Thursday. Until then, take care.